everyone, good morning. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Mubina Kapasi. This is, of course, the show where we flag off all the individual movers and shakers. Okay, like I said, the show is, of course, all about flagging off all those individual movers and shakers. So let's kickstart the show first by introducing our guest. We have with us on the technicals, Nagraj Shetty of HDFC Securities. And from our research team, also, we are joined by Varun and Soumya. So good morning to all of you. And let's start off with by flagging off Bharti Airtel. Today, you are seeing that Airtel is one of those few stocks in the Nifty that's actually in the green. It's 1.4% higher today in trade. Now, a couple of triggers. The telecom space in general today is doing pretty well. Today, however, an ET report has said that Bharti Airtel essentially wants to halve its debt by March, and the only debt that it actually wants to keep on its books is the one that's related to spectrum, because that is where the repayment terms are pretty flexible. Additionally, we do have the entire TRAI consultation paper to revise the zero MTC implementation date. Now, that zero regime date, if it's delayed, would be positive for Airtel and Vodafone Idea, the incumbents, as opposed to the new entrant Reliance Jio. So after 2-3 days of a decline seen in Bharti Airtel today, finally we are seeing some green on the screen. In fact, on that slide, I'd also request my producer to pull up a Vodafone Idea. It's of course a penny stock now, but noteworthy as to how the stock is buzzing. In fact, it's the top Nifty 500 gainer as well. The last time I checked, it was gaining approximately 12, okay, still gaining around 12 odd percent. A massive move seen in these telecom stocks today, particularly Vodafone Idea. Well, moving on, Nagraj, the Nifty PSU banking index is in the red yet again. Lots of volatility witnessed in the index. But additionally, it's also important to flag off that we do have that meeting today where it looks like the FM is going to take stock of what the PSU banks have done since that RBI rule. But Nagraj, what is your recommendation here?
Yeah, PSU, if you look at the long-term charts, PSU banking sector has been in a downtrend over the last many months. Recently, it shifted into a consolidation, made an attempt to move up in between. But on every rise, selling is emerging for the PSU banking sector as well as PSU banking stocks. So the current chart pattern is not looking for any positive structure at this moment. One may look to avoid, at least for this time being, and wait for some clear indications to create any positions.
For now, that's Nagraj's view on the PSU banking name. Varun, Lupin, meantime, not such good news for this one.
Yeah, Mubina, it's been a tough morning for Lupin with two negative announcements. Now, the first one is obviously an FTA warning on the Mandi Deep Unit 1. So that's obviously a major red flag here. And secondly, there's some problems with the launch of a drug called Pro Air, which is a metered dose inhaler. Now, the product has received a CRL, which means the launch time may go anywhere between 12 to 18 months. So given that there's going to be no new launches in Q2, estimates for Q2 have also been trimmed, auguring negatively for the stock today.
Okay, 1.3% gone for Lupin at 750 approximately. Okay, Soumya, we've been flagging off aviation stocks for the last couple of days. First, it was because of crude, then it's because of Air India. And today we have Goldman Sachs that's actually, released a very positive note on both these aviation names. So what are they saying?
Well, clearly, this definitely goes down well with both Indigo and SpiceJet, given the fact that this entire space has brought the focus back on both these players, with Air India also shutting their shop. In fact, and they've maintained buy on both the stocks with the target price at 1,830 for Indigo and 158 for SpiceJet. And they, in fact, believe that market share shift is very crucial in this evolving sector, and they expect both these companies to emerge as market leaders. And clearly, both the stocks definitely are trading in green today.
Okay, that's aviation stocks, although both of them are showing a bit of a divergent trend. You have Indigo gaining marginally off the day's high, but Spice is in the red. Okay, take a look at Voltas meantime. The share price of this, consumer goods major, capital goods major, is in the red. In fact, the last time I checked, it's losing more than 1%. Now, Voltas conducted an analyst meet, and what analysts say is that the management did sound a little cautious when it comes to demand, and they have also said that the economic slowdown can impact the festive season sales as well. But the only hope is that the government spending essentially will resume in various quarters, and that is something that Voltas could essentially capitalize on. Nevertheless, you do have some brokerage notes. They seem to be having a buy. I have a PL note over here that has a hold stance on Voltas, but yeah, be a little wary. It started off on a positive note in the first quarter when it comes to the UPC business, but now it may temper off a little bit because of the entire weakness in the consumer sentiment. Okay, moving on, Nagraj, another banking stock we want to flag off is IndusInd. It's yet again slipped below the 1300 rupee mark. So it is weakish in trade, but that's really been the case with all private sector banks. But this one particularly has been an underperformer. What's your view?
Yeah, IndusInd Bank has been in a downtrend. What we can observe in the larger time frame chart is the decline as per the consolidation movement. Normally it is like a falling wedge. Normally falling wedges are positive for the underlying stocks, but in this case the stock has been continuously facing resistance at the higher levels. The overall trend chart pattern is not conducive for any buying at this point of time. Better to avoid this stock at least for time being and wait for clear indication to initiate any trade.
Okay, a weak trend, avoid buying at this point of time, according to Nagraj. Varun, paper stocks, we've been tracking this story and the rally that we've seen in these individual names, JK Paper, etc. for the last 1 week. What's the latest buzz though?
Yeah, Mubina, it's another big day for paper. We saw all the stocks pick up really well early in the morning. Again, Orient, West Coast, Seshashahi, JK, Quantum, the whole pack moves together. Now, obviously, this might be in anticipation of the October 2nd single-use plastic ban which is coming up. So as a result of this, you might see a lot of single-use products moving to paper as a medium instead of plastic. Obviously a huge tailwind for the sector. We're also seeing this reinforced by companies like JK Paper that have now come out and said they're going to do nearly a 2,000 crore capex. So, and that too without raising any equity. So there must be a real belief in the future of paper. So it's another good day for the entire pack here.
Well, that it is really shining at a time when the market is looking very lackluster. Samia, metal stocks today are yet again a weak pack. However, what's standing out is NALCO. What's the trigger there?
This one has announced a 115% of dividend for 2018 and 19, which happens to be the highest ever. In fact, this total amount stands up to 1,072 crore rupees for 2018 and 19. And if further crumbling down, it actually works out to 5.75 per equity share for what 5 rupees of each share. Now, this definitely is a very good bonus and in fact very good dividend from the company, which is keeping the stock even higher today, given it's very holding up on the dividend front.
All right. Well, we are going to expect a hefty dividend payout by a lot of these PSUs because that is something that the PMO as well has asked, that if the PSU is not investing in capex, you might as well pay out a good dividend. Okay, moving on, let's talk about Info Edge. CLSA has maintained a buy here with a target at 2,400 rupees, as it believes. Talking about the individual segments, Naukri, firstly, it believes that IT is something that will drive the growth. They do see a near-term course correction in Zomato, but they believe that the long-term strength is sort of intact, and that is something that will be a positive. They've spoken about 99 acres as well, which did struggle, but again, that too they believe should come out of the woods of sorts. It is a buy from CLSA. The stock price, in fact, was gaining more than 1%, but now it's ebbed off quite a bit from the day's high, and it's actually losing around 1/3%. Nevertheless, 2,400, so it's almost a 500 rupee upside potential that CLSA believes Info Edge's stock price can clock in. Nagraj, GAIL for the last couple of days had been, trading really strong despite the weakness in the markets. However, today it seems to be reversing course. What's the view here?
Yes, exactly. Mobina, GAIL after the downtrend has shifted into a consolidation and showing some consolidation pattern and making some upside breakout attempt. Currently showing consolidation, minor correction from the highs, but the overall chart pattern, even momentum indicators of GAIL is looking positive. One may look to buy GAIL around current market price of 133 or buy on dips as well at 127, and for the target of 150 by placing a stop loss of around 122. in the next 1 month.
Okay, so it's a buy on GAIL, target 150 rupees. It's a 1 month sort of time horizon that, of course, Nagraj is recommending this for. But today on the rise with India's small case, let's see what that one's up to at this point, as the market once again has taken up to its losing ways. We're down by almost 0.9% for the Nifty. The Sensex as well losing big time. So yes, the RWS small case as well has given up that 520 mark very firmly. It's 0.5% gone for this one in trade today. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. Let's continue with the countdown of movers and shakers. Stock number 11, Samya RITES. This one was gaining quite a bit, but it's come up from the day's high. But what's the trigger?
Yes, and despite that volatile move or maybe coming back from day's high, it's still trading in green. Well, they've bagged contracts, export contracts worth over 160 crore from Sri Lankan government for supply of 2 DMU train sets. Well, let me tell you, this is not the first order. They have been receiving such orders in the previously also. In fact, this definitely gives a very good order book outlook for RITES, and that's the reason the stock's definitely gaining today in trade.
Yeah, but it's left with gains of only about 0.6%. Okay, stock number 12, Varun, it's a stock we don't talk about very often, as is the case with the typical MNC. Volumes as well are very, very low. Today it's gaining, however. So what exactly is it that you're observing that may be a trigger of sorts for the stock?
Right, Mubina. So not something we talk about a lot, but it has advanced significantly in the last year. This company has seen its market cap nearly double. It's now around 2,000 crores. I'd say it's a sizable entity. It is also the only way to play the infra from the big chemical capex we've been seeing. GMM is a sole producer of glass-lined reactors domestically. There is Swiss Glasscoat, but it's a much smaller company. GMM has done really well in the recent past. There's been a huge upswing in the local chemical or domestic chemical cycle because of problems in China, so they have been a major beneficiary. The stock also trades at around 48 times earnings, which reflects the growth potential and the belief behind the stock. And the reason it's specifically on our radar today, because I just wanted to highlight it as a stock that recently made a 52-week high in this current market. I believe it was on Friday at a price of, I'm not sure exactly what the price was. I think it's 1522 on Friday, which was a 52-week high, which is commendable in my mind.
All right. Yes, that it is. It's almost close to a 52-week high. Despite the fall in the market, there are a few of these diamonds in the rough, as we often call them, and this one is one of them. Okay, stock number 13, NMDC. Today, reports are suggesting that the PMO has really asked, essentially, that the strategic sale of both BML and NMDC accelerate. Remember that the process of divestment has been a little slow, perhaps because the markets as well have been down and the price point is not very attractive. But additionally, the PMO has asked the Steel Ministry to sort of expeditiously take forward that CCAEA note and to allocate a mine for NMDC's Nagarnar steel project, which is, of course, in the works. It's a 3 million ton capacity steel unit. And, of course, if there is a mine, it does increase the attractiveness of the steel plant. NMDC is down around 2.5%, however, today in trade. But we should definitely watch out for any sort of an announcement from the Steel Ministry, because, folks, if the Nagarnar plant is able to get an iron ore mine attached to it, it certainly is positive news. Okay, moving on. Today, Nagraj, it's the FMCG space that's managing to stay a bit resilient. Colgate, which has seen a lot of investor interest in the last 1 odd week, is higher by about 1.5%. What's your view?
Yeah, Mobina, Colgate has been an excellent up move over the last many weeks. It has outperformed the market. Currently placed at the consolidation, placed at near the new highs. The overall chart pattern, what we see, the higher tops and bottoms in such market is positive indication and suggests a buying opportunity. One may look to buy Colgate around 1335 levels. Place a stop loss around 1290 and wait for the target of around 1420 levels in the next 3 to 5 weeks.
It's a buy, target 1420 for Colgate, according to Nagraj. Varun, it's the third straight day of a circuit for Tata Communications meantime.
The third day on circuit post the demerger with Hemisphere Properties. Now, obviously, the market's responding well to Tata Com's residual business. Just to let you know, before the demerger, again, the price was 430 rupees. So if we look at today's price of 306 plus, Hemisphere's listing expected of around 160 to 170 rupees, it's already translated into 10% upside in the stock. So the demerger has seemed to succeed in unlocking value for minority shareholders.
It's 306 right now for Taracom. And Samia, talking about restructuring, there's also IIFL Wealth. What's it looking like on its day of debut?
Yeah, well, this one has debuted on the exchanges today and lists at a price of 1,210 rupees per share. Well, let me tell you, the analysts were expecting a price range of 800 to 1,000 rupees per share. Well, definitely this listing price is definitely way above what the analysts were expecting. But having said that, not just that, in fact, within few minutes of trading sessions, we saw that the stock rallied by over 5 to 6% to finally trade at around 1270 levels. And this definitely is an indication that the company has strong growth outlook for ahead.
Okay, 1270 for IIFL Wealth on the day of its debut, so not a bad start. Nagraj, today we are seeing the liquor stocks buck the trend. United Spirits, Radico, both of them are gaining. Any view that you have for Radico?
Yeah, Radico, if you look at the chart, Radico has been consistently showing strength over the last few weeks, post a decline of previous months. Currently showing consolidation movement and strength to sustain the highs. The overall chart pattern along with the indicators, momentum oscillators are showing positive trend ahead for the stock. One may look to buy the stock at current market around 305, buy on dips as well around 290 and wait for the upside target of around 330 in the next 1 month by placing a stop loss of 280.
Now it's at 305. That's Radico Khaitan for you. Okay, moving on. Varun, Laurus Labs, what exactly is the trigger over there? There's an acquisition that it's making, but how will it essentially boost Laurus's portfolio?
Right, Mubina. So an acquisition has been made by Laurus Labs in South Africa. Now the transaction value is really small in local currency. It's around 75,000. I don't know what that amounts to in rupees, but I doubt it's that high. Now the transaction is key because it provides Laurus access to a new market. How it works with pharma and chemical companies is manufacturing isn't the only component. You often need a registration in a foreign company. So it may be a company that just has a registration but very minimal business at the moment, which Laurus can then expand. So from what we understand, this acquisition is for a product that treats antiretroviral ARV sector, which is a pretty large sector in South Africa. And manufacturing will still continue in Aspen, but the marketing will now be done through this company in South Africa. I think it basically gives Laurus an avenue to sell products there.
Okay, well, on that note, we're out of time. So Nagraj, Varun and Soumya, thanks a lot for joining us on this edition of Market Fatafat. But as we wrap it up, in a fast-paced world at even faster internet speed, fake news tends to spread far and wide, which can have huge repercussions, especially when it comes to our health. On a mission to bust fake health news and tips, Koki India Health Quiz partnered with the Times Network and was launched to equip each and every one with the right facts and information regarding health, fitness, nutrition, sleep, stress, and so on. Be a part of this 100-day initiative through an exciting quiz format that will educate as well as give you a chance to win a lot of exciting prizes. Well, so while you download the Koki app, we will take a very short break and wrap it up on Market Fatafat. Coming up next is Market with Me.